Welcome back everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Gia, for those of you that don't know me yet. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about things that we do that keeps us in a lower vibrational state. And when I say lower vibrational state, I'm referring to lower vibrational emotions, limited self-awareness, and mainly operating from our subconscious patterns. So a lot of these subconscious patterns are learned behaviors that have been programmed within us over the course of our life, usually since very young. These kind of subconscious patterns have us live life almost in an autopilot state where we are just reacting to triggers around us, whether they're people, situations, or places, stuck in specific ways of thinking, thought patterns that keeps us repeating our everyday life. So these are different ways that usually keeps us in lower vibrational state. And in this video, I'll be sharing with you some specific things that we do, specific behavior patterns that keeps us in lower vibrational state, which usually disconnects us from our intuition, from our ability to connect to our intuition, have access to inner guidance system, have access to our guides, higher self, however you would like to word it, that works for you. It also keeps us from being able to experience high positive emotions, which usually raises our vibration immediately. So the first behavior that tends to keep us in a lower vibrational state, or that brings us down from a higher to a lower vibrational state, is when we are constantly in this pattern of comparing ourselves. This could be comparing ourselves to others, comparing ourselves to our own standards on whatever it is that we're doing, or comparing ourselves to our future self or our past self. And when it comes to comparing ourselves to other people, it usually comes from more of a fear-based belief rather than a healthy competition that helps each other grow. So fear-based beliefs might look something like, oh, maybe there is something not enough about me right in the here and now. There is something wrong with me that I am not able to achieve as much as those people. It usually comes from this collective consciousness that holds this belief that there isn't enough to go around for everyone, that being number one is the best. These are different ways that has been programmed, which eventually disconnects us from our ability to free flow and tune into our creativity and intuition, and most importantly, feel deeper connection and oneness with people around us rather than constantly separating ourselves from other people. And these kind of beliefs are very much of a collective belief or almost intergenerational, depending on what kind of system that you're born into. It's very important for us to question these things. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad, but it's important for us to question, does this subconscious pattern, does this belief, is it serving me or is it hurting me? Is it creating more emotional freedom for me, or is it creating more walls against the world? So these kind of comparing behaviors lowers our vibration and keeps us stuck in that state. The second thing that you might often do that keep you in a lower vibrational state is the constant need to plug ourselves into external stimulation. So this can mean anything that stimulates us sensorially, visually, auditorily, through all our senses. And this can be through TV shows, TV programs, social media. It could be from very stimulating music. So there are different ways that we are almost habitually plugging ourselves, plugging our focus into the stimulating things around us. Again, it's not about whether it's good or bad. It's more about the question of what effect is it having on me, on my emotions, on my consciousness overall. So these are ways that we can step out of operating from that autopilot subconscious pattern and shifting into a more of a conscious lifestyle. When we're constantly tuned into external stimulation, at the same time, we're shutting ourselves down from our ability to tune into our intuition. The next one that I want to talk about in terms of what we do that keeps us in lower vibrational state or bring us down to the lower vibrational state is our over-identification with the material world. So, enjoying the material world, enjoying what we have, and really appreciating the sense of freedom, there's something beautiful about that. It's something that is very unique to what is available on Earth, the 3D reality. The challenge comes when you begin to identify with what you own, with what you have. Part of 3D reality is about the interaction with the 3D world and being able to balance the spiritual and the material world per se. But when we begin to identify with the material world, then we begin to set limited perspective on who we are. So we're limiting our self-identity to what we own and what we have and what we put on ourselves once again. When we look beyond our physical body, our physical belongings, our possessions, then we are able to see through our soul potential, our talents that we're born with, our unique way in which we express ourselves. We exercise creativity. And we also learn to connect with people on a deeper level that's beyond just the surface level. We learn to have a deeper emotional connection and tune into some of our challenging and pleasant emotions and explore them on a deeper level. Another important way that a lot of people become stuck in the lower vibrational state is by holding on to and repressing emotional pain. Part of the important life lessons that we have is that we go through emotional pain and we experience and learn from this emotional pain. And a lot of us are programmed to not feel those emotions and that those emotions are not okay to feel. And I grew up in an environment where enduring through pain in silence with patience is a coping mechanism. But eventually I learned that repression is not coping. Repression leads to depression. Repression leads to explosion as well. So it's very important for us to be able to articulate and somehow externalize and express some of our difficult emotions, whether it's rage, whether it's resentment, depression, anxiety, whatever it is, for us to be able to externalize it. It's similar to trauma. When we have unprocessed emotional trauma, it's almost like this burden that we're holding on to, and it keeps us from being able to moving forward with life. It's very similar with repressed emotions. So this is another important way that we keep ourselves stagnant in lower vibrational energy, lower vibrational state by repressing our emotions. The next one that I want to talk about that often keeps us in a lower vibrational state or immediately bring us down after we raise our vibration is when we keep ourselves in an unhealthy environment, in low vibrational environment. And this can be so many different things. It could be family, it could be relationship, it could be social gatherings, it could be work environment. And there are very valid reasons why each of you may feel that you should be still staying in that unhealthy environment, even though at your heart you know that it's not healthy for you. And these reasons are valid. It could range from the need to rescue a family member or to take care of everyone around you, or the fear of what might happen when you move on to something new, the fear of the unknown, the fear of losing what you already have worked so hard to gain. There are very valid reasons why we feel that we need to stay where we are. At the same time, deep in our hearts, we know that it's time to move on, to move forward. And it can be especially difficult for a lot of empaths when they feel other people's emotions as if it's theirs, and it becomes almost an emotional burden that they take on. It can be very difficult to move forward into something that we believe is helpful for us, letting go of the need to rescue others and help others. In my journey, I've learned that as much as I believe this very strongly, if I am not ready, if I haven't worked on myself and healed myself and improved myself, no matter what I try to do, the help that I give doesn't always come off as help, but it tends to become more detrimental in some ways. And this may be true for you in some ways not. But I do feel that it's very important for us to re-examine our fear-based belief of what we think might happen if we do make the choice that comes from our heart, whether it is moving forward with something that you truly believe in. maybe changing your environment to something that might be more suitable and healthy for you in raising your vibration and do your inner work. I'm sure you've experienced times where you thought the decision that you made was going to make things a lot more difficult and challenging, but it ended up being one of the most valuable choices that you made for your life. And this is a great example to re-examine our limited beliefs on why we are still sticking around unhealthy environment, what is really there for us, and what is it that's keeping us there. The last one that I want to talk to you guys about that lowers our vibration that we often do subconsciously is refusing to take risks. And taking risks in life doesn't have to be jumping off a cliff to see what happens. It can be very small steps that we take, the little jumps that we make that can bring in new perspectives in life, whether it's through career, whether it is through relationships, whether it is just simply making the call that you want to call to a friend where you have been reluctant to do so for whatever the reason. Getting back up even when we feel that we have failed in whatever area in our life. When we play it safe in life, this safe zone is usually created by someone that's outside of us. Since a very young age, it could be our parents, our family members, or just intergenerational beliefs. It could be just society in general, the collective consciousness. There are different ways that our beliefs on what is safe and what is beyond the safety zone that is deeply rooted within us, usually from our subconscious programming. As much as this can feel comfortable, keep you safe, at the same time, it creates prison around us. It creates mental, emotional, and spiritual wall from life experiences that can bring new adventures, new perspectives to life, and expand our consciousness. Thank you for tuning into this video, and if you have your own insights gained from your own personal life that keeps you in a lower vibrational state and moving forward in life, you can feel free to share that in the comments below. Again, thank you for tuning into this video, and love and light your way.